Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Let us start with another very important topic, which is called internationalization of freedom movement. Now, in many of the books, this internationalization of freedom movement may not be found, but the content, of course, may be found in much of the books from Bipin Chandra to Shekhar Bandyopadhyay or Sumit Sarkar and many others. But I have titled this internationalization of freedom movement precisely now because freedom movement is entering into a new phase in the especially beginning of the 20th century. Uh, Hello everyone, this is Parvez Alam from Department of Political Science, Aligarh Muslim University. We are in MOOC Swayam course on nationalism and constitutional growth in India, 1858 to 1920. Friends, as we saw that the extremists and moderates again united in 1914. There's a resurgence of national movement. 1914 is also a time where the British Empire is actually involved into one of the war which is now called Great War, the World War One, which is going to be a war for almost 3-4 years, where there will be destruction of lives, there will be loss of lives. A lot of parties will be exposed, and also this war will ravage, the Europe and also Japan, Russia, and many big actors will be, in the fighting. Where the Turkey Ottoman Empire will be also in a way from the aggressor side. Germany would be defeated, and Germany would be Germany and also France to some extent would be victorious, but ultimately they are they are destroyed heavily. Which actually the end of war led to the configuration of power at the world scene in a very drastic way. So, 1914, in a way, when it was seen that British Empire is engaged into World War One, nationalist movement started gaining traction, where the national movement, in fact, started becoming international, where diaspora in North America, Canada, and Europe started taking up the cause, in a much more concerted way, which are called Ghadar revolutionaries. And these Ghadar revolutionaries in North America and Home Rule leagues in India responded differently to the opportunity. Now, the revolutionaries are also called Ghadarites. They aimed for a violent overthrow of British rule, while Home Rule leaguers sought Swaraj through non-violent means. Now, since 1904, what we know is Punjabi immigrants, including land-hungry peasants and ex-soldiers, they moved to the west coast of North America. They faced racial contempt, hostility from white labor, and discriminatory policies. The political activities among Indian nationalists began, including the issuance of a circular Azadi and the start of Free Hindustan by Taraknath Das. Now, in North America, what were the political activities these diaspora communities were doing. The discriminatory policies, in fact, in North America, led to political activity among Indian nationalists on the West Coast. The Ramnath Puri, who is known for issuing Circular-e-Azadi in 1907, Tarak Nath Das, who started Free Hindustan, and G.D. Kumar set up, Swadesh Sevak Home. The United India House in Seattle, established by Das and Kumar, linked radical nationalist students and the Khalsa Diwan society. Now, in terms of revolutionary movement, there's a sustained agitation in Canada and the United States, which created a nationalist consciousness among immigrant Indians. There's a failure to influence, immigration restrictions and other discriminatory laws, which fueled impatience and discontent. Now, this discontent blossomed into a revolutionary movement with the creation of a nationalist consciousness. Bhagwan Singh, who visited in 1913 to Vancouver, provided the first fillip to the revolutionary movement. Singh openly preached violent overthrow of British rule and urged the adoption of Bande Mataram as a revolutionary salute. So, during the extremist phase in 1909, 1910, when Aurobindo Ghosh, who said that Bande Mataram cry faded, Bande Mataram cry, in fact, was very much on the scene by 1913 when Bhagwan Singh visited Vancouver. Further, if we see the great leader, the revolutionary, who was facing political exile from India, called Lala Hardayal, played a crucial role in Gadar movement. Lala Hardayal, who arrived in California in 1911, initially focused on anarchist and syndicalist movement. Now, Lord Hardage's bomb attack in 1912 rekindled Hardayal's revolutionary spirit. Now, Lord Hardage was just wounded in the bomb attack in 1912. There was formation of the Hindi Association, the Yuganta Circular, and the establishment of the Gadar marked the beginning of the Gadar movement. Now, the Gadar was in fact a newspaper which was started by Lala Hardayal and others, which was a revolutionary newspaper, inspired the young generation, the students, to attach them with the nationalist movements and the greater cause. Now, the Gadar propaganda, in fact, among the militants, initiated an extensive campaign touring meals and also farms where Punjabi immigrant labor worked. The Yugantar Ashram served as the home headquarters and refuge for political workers. The first issue of Gadar was published on November 1, 1913 in Urdu, followed by the Gurmukhi edition on December 9. Now, Gadar newspapers, aimed at exposing the harmful effects of British rule with a list of 14 points. This list was called Chitta, by detailing various kind of grievances. It was a chitta of grievances. Now, the paper serialized also Savarkar's The First War of Indian Independence of 1857 to inspire the very tactics of 1857 of the Sepoy Mutiny or revolt, which Savarkar, of course, called the First War of Indian Independence. Gadar highlighted contributions from various leaders and groups, emphasizing the critique of British rule. Now, if we see the impact of Ghadar movement, the Ghadar, poems which were compiled as Ghadar the Goose played a powerful role in conveying the revolutionary message. The poems marked by secularism and revolutionary zeal contributed to changing the self-image of Punjabi immigrants. Also, the Ghadar movement transformed the perception of Punjabi immigrants from loyal subjects to rebels against British rule. Now, let us also see a very, very important event which is happening, in the history of nationalist movement, which is Lala Hardayal was arrested in March 1914 on charges of anarchist activities. In fact, escaped while he was on bail. And his escape marked the end of his active association with the Ghadar movement, because that was also kind of the Lala Hardayal's action in a way, demoralized the revolutionaries who were part of the Ghadar movement. Now, within the duration of that time, the one of the great event which happened was called Komagata Maru incident. Now, in March 1914, the Komagata Maru, it was a naval ship which was called Komagata Maru. It set sail for Canada, challenging immigration restrictions. Now, the ship was not allowed into the port, sparking protest and anti-British mobilization. And ultimately, this ship was forced out of Canadian waters. The ship faced challenges during its journey, contributing to anti-British sentiments. Not only anti-British sentiments of Indians, but also anti-British sentiment of the British, citizens as well. Later, if we see, the Ghadar movement and World War One, the outbreak of World War One in 1914 influenced the Ghadar movement. The Hardayal's arrest and escape, Komagata Maru incident, and war created a sense of urgency among Ghadar activists. And for this, a special meeting decided to seize the opportunity. The proclamation of war, which was called Ailan-e-Jang, was issued, and that called for armed revolt in India. Now, how government responded to Ghadar plans? Government of India was aware of Ghadar plans, of Ailan-e-Jang, and enacted the Ingress into India ordinance. And this is happening by 1914, when the British Empire is engaged into a world war. And if we see that immigrants, they who were returning, they were scrutinized, with safe ones allowed home, dangerous ones arrested, and others restricted to their villages. So in a way, the very restrictions of entry and exit were introduced, by the government of India, and those who were trained as a part of the Ghadar movement were, in fact, scrutinized. Their history of activities were checked, and ultimately they were sent to, cellular jail of Andaman and Nicobar, and and also restricted to their villages, and which resulted into approximately 5,000 of the estimated, or 8,000 returnees were allowed to, uh, proceed unhindered. Now, how Gadar's reception, or Gadar was received in Punjab. If we see, the Punjab's population was not receptive to the Gadar movement. Efforts to garner support from civilians, in fact, failed. Chief Khalsa Diwan proclaimed loyalty to the sovereign uh, by denouncing Gadarites as fallen Sikhs and criminals. The Punjabi population, including Sikhs, they rejected the romantic adventure of the Gadar movement. Now, if we see, there's a naive attempt to incite, mutiny. Uh, in fact, Gadarites attempted to this effort, to incite mutinies in the army units in November 1914. There was a lack of organized leadership, and central command thwarted Gadar's efforts to instigate mutinies. And especially Rash Bihari Bose, who was the, in fact, kind of Gadarite. Uh, he was, kind of frustrated, Gadarites, sought leadership and contacted, the revolutionaries, and in fact, the Gadarites themselves were, kind of, wanted Ras Bihari to take up the revolutionary activities in Bengal. And also Bose arrived in, Punjab in mid-January 1915 and assumed leadership, by attempting to organize mutiny. Now, the preemptive measures by the government, including arrests and effective penetration, crushed the Gadar movement. And especially these repressive measures and trials, where government took all kind of repressive actions after thwarting the Gadar movement, conducted conspiracy trials. 45 revolutionaries were sentenced to death, and over 200 received long terms of imprisonment. In fact, there was political beheading of an entire generation of Punjab's nationalist leadership, which occurred. So let us now see what was the contribution of Gadar movement to nationalist consciousness. Uh, Gadarites, in their own way, contributed to nationalist consciousness, despite the movement's practical failure. If we see, the success or failure should be measured in terms of the deepening of nationalist consciousness and the evolution of new strategies. Gadar movement had a significant impact on shaping a secular, egalitarian, and democratic nationalist ideology. To my mind, Gadar movement, while popularizing the cause of freedom of India, internationally, in fact, also garnered support of the international media. The activities that what Gadar movement, they were doing, that they in fact were kind of popularizing by writing pieces into those international newspapers, where further from 1914 onwards, the very freedom movement of India is now captured into the newspapers like New York Times and Washington Post, and various other newspapers, the Guardian, or others in Europe. So in that sense, Ghadr's activity was the some sense of contribution, and also Ghadar succeeded in the realm of ideology, by carrying the nationalist critique of colonialism to the Indian immigrants. Also, this movement motivated and educated an entire generation by creating a tradition of resistance, also secularism, democracy, and egalitarianism. And this internationalist outlook of Ghadar leaders, Lala Hardayal's internationalist outlook, or Lala Hardayal, who started in fact Ghadar newspaper in Urdu itself, is a marker of his secular credentials. The idea of egalitarianism, democracy, or non-chauvinism. Unlike the extremist, leaders or extremist ideologues who were championing the cause of independence, but utilizing all kind of communal, communal elements or communal kind of resources to some extent, like using religious festivals to some extent, and also all markers of religiosity in a way, bringing into the fold of independence movement, that itself can deflect the movement on a very different trajectory altogether. Also, many of the religious outfits may not like the secular, egalitarian kind of, or non-chauvinistic kind of, activities, which Ghadar movement actually took up, and particularly like leaders like Lala Hardayal, and to some extent, because of its secular credentials by the Punjabi diaspora, in fact, irritated to some extent. Like, of course, the Punjabi, diaspora was not outrightly all the diaspora, Punjabi-speaking diaspora was Sikh by religion, but Chief Khalsa Diwan, in fact, calling, the activities of the Ghadar is anti-Sikh activity, or and in fact kind of showing its loyalty to the sovereign. That kind of move by the religious forces in a way also showcased that how secular or international outlook that Ghadar leaders in fact provided. And Ghadarites consciously, in fact, work to create a secular consciousness, and promoted an inclusive nationalist salute of Bande Mataram. Now, but again, if we call it like, whether Bande Mataram was, the very cry of Bande Mataram, in fact, to some extent could be categorized as the secular kind of cry or secular slogan, that may have a different kind of interpretation to some extent by again religious leaders. But considering the fact that this Bande Matram cry by Lala Hardayal and others, who are in fact exiled, and they are there in a distant land, in a foreign land, and from there they are seeing the land occupied by the foreign forces. In fact, kind of, for them, this slogan or the salute of Bande Matram can do a lot of re-energization, or kind of inculcate some kind of pride. So Gadar's weaknesses, if we see, Gadar movement, in fact, suffered from weaknesses such as underestimation of preparation needed for an armed revolt. Also lack of effective leadership. Because organizational structure, and also Ghadar movement in a way, because of the escape from while on bail by Lala Hardayal, this departure led to organizational floundering. Ultimately, the movement resulted in a tremendous waste of human resources, with the beheading of secular nationalist leadership. So, finally, what was the Gadar's legacy? The Gadar movement's failure to achieve stated objectives does not negate its contribution to India's freedom struggle. As I said, the popularization and internationalization of freedom movement, where since Gadar movement, the international media started kind of covering the freedom struggle in India, itself is a remarkable achievement of the Gadar. Gadarites also laid the groundwork for future movements and contributed to the evolution of a secular nationalist ideology. Also, surviving Gadarites played a role in later secular and peasant movements in Punjab in the 20s and 30s. So, friends, we have covered a very important point of internationalization of freedom movement in this segment. Let us now, in the next, segments, discuss, by focusing on some of the events, even in between, say, Morley Minto reforms, 1909, as well as, the, Swadeshi boycott movements, where the partition of Bengal especially happened. So we will see the partition of Bengal in the next segments, and other segments. We will also see the home rule. Also, we'll see the Morley Minto reforms, 1909, of course, as well as Lucknow Pact and various other kind of topics in the further lectures. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying, and do read the books on this topic. There's a lot of books available on freedom struggle, but I am sticking with Bipin Chandra's India's struggle for independence. Thank you.